It's the first time in my career in any kind of bladed fight where I didn't have to lift a finger. On all the other projects I've done where there's a sword fighter that, I have to walk it. No, not like that. And that's not correct. And you don't do that in this situation. I didn't have to do that once. I just watched them create. And every time I was like going, maybe they would do something badass. And I would go, nope, leave that alone. That's awesome. And so I literally was allowed to sit back and be lazy and just watch them and go, that's brilliant. I'm taking credit for all of that. That's a brilliant fight.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. What is going on? It's your boy, Preston, Phat Samurai Guy, back again. And again, legends have returned to the movie dojo. First up, well, you know him, you love him. He's a regular here on the channel. He's been here several times. One of the best action directors going today. Made one of my favorite Scott Adkins movies. Might be my number one Scott Adkins film, Avengement. That's right. You guys know him. Triple Threat. What? Jesse V. Johnson, welcome back to the channel.
Thank you for having us here. Always appreciate being here with your wonderful sense of movies and knowledge of the action genre. So it's great to be here, Preston. Thank you.
Yes, yes. It's always great to have you here, brother. This is your second home. But first time here, stuntman, martial artist, filmmaker, and now director. That's right. Luke Lafontaine, welcome to the dojo.
Hi, guys. Thank you for having me. Thanks, Preston.
Yes, sir. And I enjoyed a lot of your work, especially the ones you've done with Jesse. We got Savage Dog, man. We got what? Accident Man. That's right. We got The Debt Collectors. Oh, yeah. A lot of awesome stuff that you've done, man. I'm a big fan of your work as well. So, yeah, welcome to the show, man. Yeah.
Well, thank you for having me.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And here he is, the man of the hour, the man with the power. Too sweet to be sour. Bren the Beast Foster, welcome to the show, man.
Thanks for having me, Preston.
Yeah, man. And absolutely loved Life After Fighting, man. That really, that was like my favorite action movie of 2024, man. Just pure martial arts movie. That's it. Loved it. Yeah, before we get to MEXICALI, man, which I really loved that movie. Really enjoyed it. It's already going on the list as one of the best action movies of 2026. Easy. It's going on the list. It's going on my list. But really quick, for those that are watching this, that is going to be watching this, so that they get to know you a little bit better. Bren, how did you get into the martial arts and get into filmmaking?
Well, the martial arts, I started when I was 6 years old, and my mother, she was a big influence on it. She really wanted me to get into it, and I started with karate, then moved to Hapkido, and then Hwarang Do, Taekwondo, Muay Thai, and just started moving through the world of martial arts, and had so many great instructors. And even my time in the US, met Ron, who Luke also knows, and I'm sure Jesse knows as well, and did a lot of training with Ron and learned a lot about the Filipino world of martial arts and whatnot. So it's been like a never-ending journey for me. Film was something I always loved. Even as a kid, I was always obsessed with Golden Harvest, the Bruce Lee movies, everything that came out in the 80s and whatnot. And, I desperately wanted to get into that world. Although I was competing heavily in martial arts, I think there was always more of a passion and an intent towards to move towards the being in films. So I remember I started doing some acting classes and whatnot, and went to New York and did this full-time summer conservatory. And I realized I knew absolutely nothing about acting. So then when I got back to Australia, I had auditioned for one of the drama schools, the top universities, and I managed to secure a place in one of the schools. So if the martial arts taught me anything, that it taught me that if I was going to become an actor, I had to go and study properly. So I did that. And then after that, believe it or not, Preston, I actually tried to move away from the martial arts stuff.
Oh wow.
And just move towards like drama and other things. But then,
Nice.
as time progressed, and especially now, I'm more trying to run towards the action and the martial arts stuff, because you've got awesome people like Jesse and Luke that you just don't find in the drama world.
Yeah. That's awesome. What was that, Jesse?
I said we can be dramatic as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But to have both of them and bring them together really, really well is rare. You have a lot of the drama guys that, have no idea about action, and then vice versa. You have a lot of action guys that have no idea about drama. And the beauty about MEXICALI, as you can see in the film, from Jesse's writing to the deep layered characters and Luke's direction, bringing the action and the drama together, and his understanding of the craft of acting, we get an elevated product. And it's not just about action for me, and it's not just about drama. And now, as I said, I'm running towards it, but we've got to have that seamless integration of both the drama and both the action at the highest level possible. And that's how we make a better film, and that's how we make something that I can look back on and be proud of what I've done. And it's not about the budget. It's really about the people and their passion, as in Luke and Jesse, and their commitment to the filmmaking process, as opposed to just quickly slapping something together and just, here you go, it's a commodity, get it out on the market. But when you have people that care, even all the actors, Plutarco, Tanya especially, Chris, everyone came in and they cared about what they were leaving behind, and boy did Luke and Jesse care. And I don't want to leave anything behind that I'm not proud of. So ultimately, the proof's in the pudding, and you got a nice little film like MEXICALI, which is, especially for the budget, it's a nice little dramatic and action ride put together.
Well, let me tell you something, brother, that those drama classes you took paid off. Because your performance is great in the movie. It's convincing, man. Like I feel you, like when you want to pop off and destroy these guys, but you have to hold back because of your loved one, your partner. But then, just like what we go back to, the big boss, soon as Bruce Lee's necklace that his mother gave him got ripped off. That was it.
Wasn't that a good moment? That was such a profound moment.
Right? What's some of your favorite action and martial arts movies?
Gosh. Going back to when I was a kid, the ones that really stay with me is probably Bruce Lee's Way of the Dragon, where he fights Chuck Norris. In more modern times, if we're talking strictly martial arts, The Raid, they've left quite the profound impact on me and influence. What else is there? Avengement, which obviously was Jesse had done and Luke had been a part of as well. I think you just mentioned that earlier. That's my favorite film of Scott's, and I think that's the music on that just really it's almost haunting, for lack of a better term, but it just really stays with you. That's one of the most, and that was one of the movies that really informed me on how important score is. And obviously, look, I've got some other favorites like Bloodsport and Killzone with Donnie Yen and Wu Jing. That fight that Donnie has with Wu Jing in the alleyway, where it's the baton versus the blade. That's something. That's a little bit of an influence in MEXICALI, believe it or not. And although we didn't go to the same extent as what Donnie and Wu Jing did, myself and Brian with the machetes, there's a very strong flavor in that. And hey, Preston, you never know. Maybe down the track in another movie, we'll create something with machetes that will rival Donnie Yen and Wu Jing.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Yeah. Oh, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. But Luke, brother, you've done so much. Phenomenal work, my friend. Really quickly, how'd you get into stunts and filmmaking?
Okay, let's see if we can sum this up really quickly. I started martial arts at 8 years old with Jiu-jitsu, and I had always been, enamored with everything martial arts. My father was a great mentor, and he exposed me to a lot of great stuff and great films at a very early age, and he started me on Buster Keaton at 6 years old and moved me into all the Japanese samurai films by the time I was 8. And, you know, I took it on from there and, you know, found myself in Manhattan in the 70s, you know, being very young, sneaking into all the Kung Fu theaters and, you know, all right up through the 80s. And I took my martial arts training really seriously. And I you know, I was just insatiable. I couldn't get enough. So, you know, I went from Aikido, and then from Aikido, I went to Seido Karate under Tadashi Nakamura in New York, and studied there for a number of years, and then went into Northern Eagle Claw Kung Fu,
Wow.
and a number of other arts, simultaneously being obsessed with swordsmanship. So by the age of 9, I was studying Kendo. By the age of 10, I was studying fencing with the maestro Giorgio Santelli, the real Giorgio Santelli before he passed away, and a number of fencing coaches after that, and then found that I didn't want to do sport fencing. And I found that Kendo was also the sport fencing version of Kenjutsu. So I became obsessed with wanting to learn real swordsmanship and not sport fencing. So I hunted it out over 3 continents over the next 30 years. And that's led me to this point of being the madman that I am now.
Copy that, man. But yeah, phenomenal directing job with the film, man. And so good. And I can't wait to see what you do next. Yeah, I can't wait to see what you do next. But Jesse,
I can't wait to see what I do next.
But Jesse, brother, you wrote the script for this. Inspirations, motivations, how did the script come about?
Initially saw a documentary on these armed groups that were defending the towns and villages in Mexico that were churning out avocados, which is an enormously lucrative cash crop that happens around about the same time of year every year as it builds up towards the 4th of July here, where this massive glut, you know, this massive need for avocado dip comes from, you know. So, and the cartels were getting involved in this, and they were getting involved in the way that they do most things that make money down there. And so groups were coming together to protect these small towns, and they were arming up and they were doing what they had to do. And I found something brilliantly, you know, heroic about that. And you know, these farmers, you know, I've spent a lot of time in Mexico. I love the country with a passion. I enjoy it. I was held by the Zapatistas for almost 3 days on a documentary that I was shooting down near the Guatemalan border. I like the place. I find it invigorating, and it's like stepping, you know, into a different time, a different era, which I think is okay now and then. And so it sprung from that, and I wrote the script. It was originally for an actor who wasn't available, and went through 2 or 3 actors before I finally. I think I was directed towards Bren by J.J. Perry, who was a director friend of mine, who said, "You've just got to see what this guy's doing." I'd worked with on The Last Ship a couple of times, and so we met. He read the script, but then things went cold for about 5 or 6 years, didn't they, Brennan?
Yeah.
And then it sort of, you know, there was an opportunity presented to me by Ehud Bleiberg and his son Ariel, who I've worked with many times, who are very daring and very courageous in that they give first-time directors a break. It's a very rare thing to do in Hollywood anymore. You know, they will look at your work and they'll weigh it up and they'll give you the break. But you have to do the film for a certain amount of money, a certain amount of time. If you don't, it comes out of your own pocket. I think Luke and I both ended up paying a little bit for MEXICALI ourselves, but that's okay. The fact was they also knew Luke because, you know, they had produced The Debt Collector, Savage Dog, Avengement, Boudica with me, which Luke had been involved in. They trusted him, they knew about him, and this seemed like the great sort of first venture for me as a producer, you know, to be able to step away from directing and to be able to watch someone else have the nightmare and headache of sort of dealing with, you know, the day-to-day artistic struggle, and I could step back a little bit. And I had really wanted to work with Bren. I'm a huge fan of his. I really enjoyed Life After Fighting. I thought it was spectacular. I know what they had when they made it. He directed this as well, and this is something different. This is a consummate filmmaker. It's in his fiber. You know what I mean? He doesn't turn up and act and go off and party. He's in it, and he's working out. And he's thinking about the character, and he's thinking about the choreography. He's thinking about the backstory. He's figuring out. It's his idea to bring in Tanya Raymonde, who is awesome and just wonderful, and they have this chemistry. So he's as involved. Oh, yeah. He takes it on, and it becomes this thing. And this is great. This is the perfect collaborator, because it's hard out there, man. It's difficult, especially low budget. You're against the world when you're making one of these movies. There's no one in LA that wants to help you. I'll tell you that much. They've got their hand out at every corner, and it's a very, very complicated thing to make a film in Hollywood. In this day and age, it's not like it was when Luke and I came here back in the 1940s. It's completely changed. It's very, very tough, and there's pitfalls and traps set along the way to close you down. Unionize the film, to take away your permit, all this kind of stuff. So, you go out there and it's like a guerrilla warfare for whatever it was, 2.5 weeks that we went out, and you need someone like Bren doing it. You need someone with the wits and the background and the intellect and the fundamental training in swords and fighting and guns that Luke has, and also on top of that, both of them are extraordinarily sensitive, creative guys as well, and understood that for this film to work, you have to have the love story work. And I think they really pulled it off, both of them. I saw the first cut and I was blown away. So I'm very, very pleased with what they've done.
Yeah, you guys killed it. The script was great. And I have to ask, since you brought up Tanya, Luke, I have to ask, was it planned for her to have her own body count? Was that originally in the? Or you're just like, hey, you know what? Let's have her take some people out along the way.
I'm going to be really honest. At one point during the movie, she was actually supposed to have a higher body count, and I had planned to give her a large knife fight that mimicked when Bren's character was training her, so that we would see a direct result of all of the hard training that Bren puts her through. And then she gets put into a situation that's life or death, and all she has is the knife. And that had to get squeezed because of time, which, was our mortal enemy on the entire shoot. But I had originally wanted her to have kind of a knockdown, drag-out fight where the guns got lost, and it was knife on knife, and she winds up surviving. And that boiled down to her slitting Gavin's throat and chucking him off the back of the Jeep, which in itself is still a real thumper, because Gavin landed like a sack of potatoes with no mat. But Tanya did brilliantly, and she jumped in with both feet. I love her to death. I want to make 50 movies with her. She is the only person to get this tough stunt guy to tears twice during filming. In 2 scenes that we shot, I sat there blubbering behind the monitor because of what she did with Bren. And I love her to death. And she did fantastic with everything. She took to the training, immediately, and worked brilliantly with Bren, and Bren put her through her paces, and she didn't back down 1 inch. Bren was not easy on her, but she took to it and she learned quickly, and I thought she did a fantastic job, not even touching the surface in terms of her performance. It was just, it's like I said, it was amazing. Her and Bren together were just gold.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Great chemistry. But that was one of my favorite parts in the movie, when she goes up to you, Bren, and she's like, teach me, train me. I was like, all right. And I had a blast interviewing Chris Van Damme, and I had Plutarco on the show a couple of days ago. And Plutarco brought that up, is that there's no damsel in distress in this movie. There's not in this movie. She fights back. And I love that. Yeah, I love that. But yeah, we got some exclusive clips here, some amazing clips from the film. I'm going to play some of them here for the audience that's going to be watching this later. And again, by all means, I would love to hear, Luke, from you and Bren, some behind the scenes of how you created some of these amazing action set pieces. Let's check out this fight right here. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's how you open up a movie, man. That's how you open up a movie. And me and Plutarco and Chris Van Dam, we were all in agreement. All of these fight sequences set up with you, Bren, in the beginning of the movie. I was like, that's how you bring in the audience. That's how you do. The best martial arts action movies of all time have these great openers. And then they reward you with a great fight at the end as well, a great climax, which is what we get with MEXICALI, with some gunplay thrown in there. So, Bren, how did you put that fight together? How did that, you and Luke?
Yeah, well, we spoke about this guy, Nicky. He's actually a really good boxer. So I think when we strip it back, my instructor Ron, taught me that. Well, he told me back in the day, the American boxers would box with their arms out. And the Filipinos, would start attacking the arms and punching the arms. And they would call it defanging the snake. So that premise always stuck with me. So when Nicky came out and we started, brainstorming with Luke for this fight stuff, if you notice that when Nicky's throwing the punches at Joe attacks the arms. He hits a boom, he punches, uppercut hits the arms. He hits the elbow, whang. The punch comes in, he parries the punch, it elbows the fist. So he's starting to take, Joe realized, and through the communication with Luke, it's like, all right, we're fighting this boxer. He's got two prominent weapons. If Joe takes away those weapons and starts attacking those weapons, this guy isn't going to be left with anything. So, Joe's fight IQ is quite high. So when the punches start coming, that's exactly what he does. He uppercuts, he starts attacking the arms, and then he starts finishing him with some long-range weapons with the kicks. And then when the guy realizes, oh, my arms aren't working, I've got nothing left, he tries to tackle Joe, right? So then Joe, almost gets a guillotine on, puts him out, spins him around, and that nice thumper to the chest that put him down. But you can see how it's very... It's planned quite like, how is he going to fight this guy who's a boxer? And obviously we went down the track and the path of, let's call it, as Ron would, defanging the snake.
I like that. Yeah. Luke, was it thought out to have him fight multiple fighters in the beginning with different styles?
Yes. Yeah, it was. I had wanted all the fights to be different. I really didn't want the fights to be the same. And I wanted the action on all these different fights to showcase Joe's knowledge and Joe's experience in terms of being a worldly combatant. He was somebody that, wasn't somebody that was stationed in one spot for a little period of time. We wanted to depict that he'd fought everywhere and that he'd been a complete type of warrior. And so when we started with these things, we looked at the fight performers that I had gathered and we said, okay, who's got what strengths? Who's really good at what? Because I really didn't want generic martial arts in the movie at all. And so, we realized Nicky's got extraordinarily good hands for somebody who is an up and coming stunt guy. And he's got a very good boxing style. And we went to town on that story. And Bren very quickly, figured out what the story was and how it made sense in terms of where he was going to click into gear on how to deal with this guy. And, with the other fights, like the grappling fight and the giant, massive, bruiser fight in the end. And, the fight with Dentes Feo in the beginning with the guy who was basically a biter. These all had to be very, very different scenarios for Joe to have to deal with. And I'm big on fights making sense, and I'm big on fights telling a story. Because if it's just generic action and it's just punches and kicks, you can lose interest very quickly. But if you tell a story from the beginning through to the end, it draws the audience in. And Bren did a brilliant job of conveying, oh shit, this is a whole different thing. How am I going to deal with this? All right, I know what I'm going to do. And then even all the way through the choreography, there's a story. It escalates. We see them, Bren going through specific techniques that are real techniques. There wasn't any BS in this film. When Bren gets into a jiu-jitsu fight, I knew Bren as an amazing martial artist. I'd never seen Bren do jiu-jitsu. And when Bren just got on the mat and started going to town with Gavin, I was like, holy shit. I had no clue that you're a Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt. And I don't even know if you were when we first met or not. But I had never seen you do jiu-jitsu. So I was just suddenly like, oh, great, there's a 19th level of Bren's dangerousness. They just looked like two python snakes wrapped around each other, fighting for their lives. And, I just was like, this is what we needed. This is immensely exciting. And to all real, true martial artists, they're going to see what these two are doing. They're going to know the techniques. They're going to appreciate it. It's not going to be lost on unknowledgeable people. We're giving the fans real martial art technique that they can follow and that they can appreciate. And, Bren did a brilliant job of really telling different stories through every single section of the fight.
Yes, that's so important. Telling stories within the fight. Because like you said, if you don't do that, then a lot of the fights are just generic. Or you could say a lot of those fight scenes that you've seen in other movies that are generic, they have empty movement. They're empty movement. There's really nothing to them, just people moving. But you bringing up the jiu-jitsu fight, I got to show that clip right here because this is just absolutely amazing and it blew my mind. Let's check it out. Oh man, so phenomenal, man. I love the boss root and pancrase palm strikes you did there, Bren, at the end. So good, man. Oh my God, it's so good. And I love the respect at the end you gave each other. So good.
Yeah, it gave a little bit of a different flavor in that fight because the other fights, they end up pretty in knockouts and whatnot. And a lot of those techniques, a lot of those inside heel hooks that we were going for and that foot fighting game, they can be, in real life, they can be career ending if they're torn hard enough. And, Gavin's a really good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt himself. So we were able to really kind of move into that world and a lot of the rolling and the leg stuff. And we tried to keep it real true to authentic and high level Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu with the defending and whatnot. But I think my favorite thing about that fight is the final submission because, I had the triangle on, and we had a few palm strikes to the head to loosen it up. But I've also scooped up his left leg and pulled that across my body. Reason being, I couldn't quite get his arm in the fight, let's say. I couldn't go kind of get his arm across to initiate the choke by pulling the head down. So, and he was very intelligently keeping his arm on the other side. So by pulling the foot across, I was able to create another bar, let's so to say, so I could pull the arm down. So we finished him with an arm bar from the triangle, but also using his own leg as to put extra pressure on the elbow. So I really liked that finish, and I thought, how can we make this one a little bit different too, Luke? And we came up with the fact, all right, well, at the end of this one, because the guy taps and he lets him go, this fight, let's make this guy, he's a good guy, has a semblance of respect. So they have they're both jiu-jitsu guys. So at the end of the match, there's a deep founded respect for each other, and that's why we have that little moment. And I think it was also another point of difference from the other fights.
Yes.
Yeah, we had discussed that. I really like the fact that you said, look, we've got to show a different side. And I really agreed with it. It was like, he can't just be this masher. He can't be just somebody who's like, I'm going to kill this guy and break that guy's jaw. Again, it was another layer to Joe that was really important. And I thought it was, I was like, it was brilliant. I remember when you said it was brilliant. I was like, absolutely. And I think it plays really well because, again, it's realism.
Yeah.
And most importantly, not just the fight choreography, not just the timing, not just that, but the directing, Luke. The cinematography of the movie looks great. Shout out to the cinematographer. But I always credit Jesse because Jesse knows this. I always credit him because he's great at showing the fight scenes and not fucking it up with all this cut editing and shaky cam, and you can't see all the fighting, and you're wasting your incredible martial arts talent and stuntman's talent. So Jesse already knows this. I always praise him on this. But Luke, phenomenal job in showing all of the action.
Yeah, that's been my mandate forever. Is, although the difference is there are a number of people who will want to copy 80s Hong Kong style and pull out wide and just let the whole thing happen. And I'm sort of like, well, it depends on the feeling that you're going for. And as long as I'm not making the audience too aware of camera, I like camera moves as long as we're not pushing in really tight.
Yes.
It's the same sort of thing for me, even though you'll see dynamic camera work in big budget movies. Sometimes the dynamic camera work is not aiding the fight at all. Mm-hmm. So they're saying, I want to get this idea of visceral. No, you're supposed to be educating the audience. And if you push in really tight and you shake the camera, you wouldn't push the camera in ultra tight and shake the camera when someone was doing dialogue that was really important in a really dramatic moment. It's the exact same thing during fights. Yeah. Unless your fight is immensely dreary and not well choreographed and things just aren't working and you're trying to save the fight by pushing it and shaking the camera around. If people know what they're doing, show the audience, teach the audience. The audience will automatically, subconsciously appreciate what it is that you're doing. They don't have to jump up and down and say, I get it. They'll get it later by feeling the fact that they witnessed something amazing. But if they can't see it and they have no sense of geography and it's all just a big sloppy uptight mess, people go, yeah, it was cool. Well, how'd you feel about it? I don't know, because I wasn't connected to it. I was shoved up somebody's nostril during the fight. So, I mean, when it's the same thing when you look at the classic musicals, when you look at Ginger Rogers and Fred Astaire and you look at Gene Kelly, what did they do? They pulled the camera back and let the physicality speak for itself. These people were physical geniuses. They let it be shown. They let them do their craft. And I'm very much of the same ideology when it comes to action and fight choreography, unless the story has to be hectic and claustrophobic for a very certain reason in the script. I don't agree with mimicking that when you're trying to show two physically brilliant people doing something for the audience. Show it. Let the audience feel it. Let them experience it. Because otherwise, you're wasting, these athletes' energy completely.
No, well said. Well said. Again, I had another director tell me that. He's like, depends on what kind of scene he's trying to make or tell what kind of story for that scene. He'll adjust the camera as so in terms of the fighting or the dramatic scene. So yeah, I love how you put it together. Is like you're not going to go crazy shaky cam on dramatic acting. You're going to show them act. So same thing with fighting. So yeah, that was great, man. But yeah, all of the fights are phenomenal. Bren, I was watching the movie with my wife. Yeah, and she hasn't seen. I didn't get a chance to show her Life of Fighting yet. So this is her debut seeing you for the first time. So we're sitting here. She's sitting right next to me, and when all of the fight scenes, like all in the beginning, she had this huge smile on her face. And the first thing this is so she's my wife. So my wife, she goes, "Oh my God, this guy's amazing." This is what she said. And then she turned to me and she goes, "Oh, thank God you could see all of the fights." That was what she said. She's like, "Oh my God, you can see the action. Oh my God, I love this." So she was really enjoying the movie, man. So yeah. Awesome. You've made a new fan. With my wife. But Jesse, big shout out to the legendary Louis Mandylor. Jesse, was it planned to have a little cameo with Louis in the film?
I think it happened at the last minute. We had the boxing. I think Luke had mentioned let's make it Louis. Let's make it Louis because he was in town. He's all over the place. He works non-stop, as I'm sure you understand. And we all came to the conclusion together we had to have him play it as Sue, now hiding out in Mexico from another movie. It was rather fun. We enjoyed that, and I had a lot of the props left over, and I think he had some props left over, so we put him up behind him in the boxing.
Yeah. And me and my wife,
he's just awesome. We love him.
We're big Debt Collectors fans. So when that scene happened, we were like, "Wait, hold on," because there was so many Easter eggs in that scene. Yeah. If you listen to Louis's dialogue, if you look at the poster behind him, we were looking at each other like, "No," and then you hear the guy in the back call him Sue. We were like, "No."
Louis is very professional. I'm sure you've had him on the show. He doesn't mess around. He wanted to know why Sue was in Mexico and what chain of events had led that character to being down there. I mean, it was not glibly put in there. I had to explain, and Luke had to. We had to have our story straight. Right. It had to make sense, and he's very, very good. He makes. I think it makes complete sense that Joe would run into another expat sort of on the run. Not sure they're both from Australia, as it turns out, but Sue isn't.
It was such a fun surprise especially if you're a fan of Louis's work and fan of the Debt Collectors films. But yeah, Louis has reached out to me. We just schedule wise, we'll work it out. But he did express he wanted to be on the show at some point. But let's look at this scene for all you Debt Collectors fans out there.
Well, I can win. I can make it entertaining, violent like I've never seen.
Like I said, I'm sure you can, pal. The gringos are just bad for business, yeah?
I don't like it when your boy Fabio here laughs at me. See? Told you I could make it violent.
Yeah. Oh, the ninja poster behind. The ninja poster.
Those pictures of Louis actually fighting professionally, boxing professionally, that he has the other poster.
That's right.
Which we also had in Netflix. We had video of him on it.
Yeah, but you had the ninja poster. I still want you somehow to make a fake ninja movie trailer of that movie. just appear, before your next movie starts, Jesse, just have like a little, upcoming trailers and just throw that in there. That would be hilarious. But shout out to Louis for sure. But back to the machete fight, Bren. Hey, that's like one of the favorite fights in the film for us. Like we really, really enjoyed it. We could watch you machete fight all day. Now, was it planned to have? He's like, hey, let's have a machete fight. Was that planned, or was this just like at the last minute? Like, you know what? Let's do this.
No, I think it was planned, right, guys?
It was roughly planned. I had, I had sat there and said, because we were going very early on. I was talking to Jesse, and we had a moment where we were really going backwards and forwards about the guns and about where the guns in certain sequences were going to make logical sense and where they weren't. And I went, well, what if all the guys, and the way it was written at the time, what if all the guys come up to the house and they've got machetes? So now we're not, because that's common in Mexico, and now we're not dealing with, firearms and all of the stop signs that come up when you're having to deal with firearms in a fight. And so we decided on machetes, and then Bren and I just kind of went nuts and started talking about it. Bren goes, let's get Brian's lawyer. And I just went, oh shit, because I know Brian. And it just became this kind of, happy combination. And, I called up. Did you call Brian too? Did we both call Brian?
We both
did, didn't we?
Yeah.
We both called Brian. He got double phone calls, and Brian was like, okay. And I had Brian come down, and Brian and Bren just went to town. And it's the first time in my career in any kind of bladed fight where I didn't have to lift a finger. On all the other projects I've done where there's a sword fighter that, I have to walk it. No, not like that. And that's not correct. And you don't do that in this situation. I didn't have to do that once. I just watched them create. And every time I was like going, maybe they would do something badass. And I would go, nope, leave that alone. That's awesome. And so I literally was allowed to sit back and be lazy and just watch them and go, that's brilliant. I'm taking credit for all of that. That's a brilliant fight.
Oh, it's so good.
But it was all them, the minute they were like peas in a pod, they were, again, it was like a tornado. They started choreographing, and then 20 minutes later, it was like, bam, here's a giant fight.
Yeah, so good. Here's a little taste of the action right here. That's a little taste. A little taste. Yeah. You want to see the rest, baby? Well, you got to go out and buy the movie. You got to see it in theater. You got to buy the DVD, Blu-ray, and 4K. That's right, when this comes out. But I have to ask you, Luke, is it a possibility? I hope, fingers crossed, I hope it's a yes, that we get a unrated version or an extended cut or like a director's cut of the film when it comes out eventually, on Blu-ray. So that way we could see Chris Van Damme and Bren's extended fight. We could see a little bit more of that action. Is that possible?
Oh, that's a. I'm just going to be very honest. That's a politically difficult question, just because the ability or the chance to go back in and recut and do more editing and spend more time. Gotcha. A lot of times, with production, they're like, oh, that's it. The movie's done. It's brilliant. We're happy, moving on. I would love, there are a number of things, I'm not going to lie, there are a number of things I would love to put back into the film that had to be trimmed or taken out. I will sit and do the hours of work. The Matt Lawrence, our editor, will probably murder me on the spot if we have to do one more minute of editing. But I'd like to do it. It's a again,
maybe, maybe a deleted
movie wise,
have it on deleted scenes on the Blu-ray or something. Special feature.
That's the more realistic likelihood.
Yeah, I'll take that. That would be great. That would be great. Yeah. Well, let's keep the action and the fun going here. I'm going to bring up the trailer here. So, Luke, how long did it take to film the movie?
Was it 13 days or 14 days?
Something like that.
Something like 13 or 14 days we had.
Yeah. Just over 2 weeks.
And, would we have liked?
Amazing. Wow.
We'd have liked 18 days. We'd have liked an 18-day shoot. That was never going to happen. Scheduling wise, time was harder to fight than Bren. So literally the schedule on this movie was so tight. And Jesse let me know that upways, downways, and sideways. And so I knew that I had to make my days every day. And I couldn't get nutty, and I couldn't have extravagant ideas. And what if was not in my vocabulary. We stayed within the parameters, and we worked within the parameters of what we knew we had established, and we embellished where we could. You know, we went a little nuts with the machete stuff where we could, and in other areas. But you know, we really had to stay to that schedule because it was super tight. And
Wow.
This is a tidbit for you. I was originally supposed to be in the film.
Oh,
I was supposed to play Tanya's father, who was the military colonel who was Joe's commanding officer, and you know, tight friend. And there was supposed to be a battle sequence with Bren and I retreating, where I corner him and not so nicely ask him, "Do you love my daughter?" And it was a great scene. And Jesse had made it greater by Jesse orchestrated this kind of, you know, retreat, waiting for a helicopter to pick us up in the middle of a firefight. But time killed it. Time absolutely just ate it up, and it just turned into a very solemn, quick kind of, well, it was a beautiful idea. And it went away.
I think there's still black and white photos of you as that character that are on the shelves and tables.
Yeah, when the movie opens, you see those photos, and I'm in those photos as Tanya's dad.
Wow. Copy that. But you mentioning earlier, Jesse, how strong Bren is. Well, here's a good example right here, because this cracked me up, Bren, when you get pushed here and you barely move. Like, look at that. You like moved, like, you move half an inch. I would have just gave up right there if I pushed somebody and they just didn't move. I would have been like, no, I'm good. Like, oh,
it was good.
Good.
That young man was he played Chavez really, really well. I thought he did really good job. Yeah, it was fun working opposite him.
Yes, great scenes in here, and again, we get the gunplay too, man. So good. And look at this guy. Look at this handsome guy right here. Shout out to Plutarco. Yeah.
Right.
And
the Mexican Robert De Niro, they call him.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. I like that. But Bren, I had to mention to Plutarco that all up to this point in the movie, all of the action I loved. But when you get to this scene right here, this is one of my favorite scenes in the movie, man, because this is a dialogue battle now. It's not a physical fight anymore.
And they did it really well.
Yeah, and they're trying to fill each other out. Like this whole table scene, even Tanya was great, trying to be hospitable and still trying to be nice, but still nervous. You could tell she's nervous because
there was
so
a tension in this, wasn't there, guys? Like
you could hear a pin drop,
bringing it to life. It was intense.
Yeah. The entire crew. I mean, it went dead silent because the entire crew got massively caught up in this scene. And it's like we were watching a movie, not making a movie. We were all just kind of like, oh my God, what's going to happen next? You read the script, you idiot. You know. I'm like, no, I'm watching a movie. I want to know what's going to happen.
But yeah, this was so good. Really intense back and forth. And great performances from everyone involved. So good. But yeah, that's one of my favorite parts in the film. And then this guy right here, they were saying he's Russian. He's Russian?
He's our first AD / line producer / locations manager.
Yeah. He was great. What a great look.
Yeah.
What a great look, that guy, for sure.
Sasha.
Yeah. Shout out to him. Yeah. Here we go. More of the action here. And everything is convincing, Bren. I mean, just every single fight is convincing. So good. There he is. Look at this guy right here. Shout out to Chris, man. If there's anything you would have changed from the film, Luke.
Time.
Yeah.
I would have wanted to stretch time and had, 4 more days because it just, we could have. There are little things we could have nuanced. I had planned and wanted more kind of quips between Bren and Plutarco. You know, I wanted more, short, tiny, silly moments of them, having these silly bickering conversations in the middle of this gun battle. And, there just wasn't time for it because we were so just up against the wall time-wise. But I wouldn't change anything except I'd change the amount of time we had. If we'd had 4 or 5 more days, we could have had a little more fun and stretched some things out. But otherwise, no. Everything, I'm insanely happy. I'm insanely proud. For me, this movie is the Notebook with fights in it. Bren and Tanya.
Let's go.
The love affair, Bren and Tanya's relationship is so amazing and so convincing and so epically well done. Like I said, brought me to tears on more than one occasion. And it really, they created this love affair and they created this story where, I keep telling everybody it's a joke. I go, no, it's the Notebook with kicking and punching and shooting in it.
I like it. I like that. But Bren, your performance here, man, in this scene, you're just like, let's go. I need some candy. I need some candy here. Gonna get the candy and that's it. Great performance. Gonna get the candy and gonna fuck some people up. And this is how you do a finale, baby.
Exactly.
Look at this. How long did it take to do this whole shootout here?
Oh, it took how long did we work on the shootout for, guys? Was it
2 days?
Was it 2 days, 3 days?
Yeah, it was two separate days, two whole days.
A day pickup.
It was a testament to how efficient everything was put into place, Preston. It was just, because of the time, there had to be a sense of efficiency. There was no time for, dilly-dallying or it just has to be on, ready to go and move accordingly. And I guess that's one of the things that I really loved. I don't know if I've said it to you yet, but this to date, look, I've enjoyed a lot of my work and really liked a lot of some and not so much some, but and it probably has to do with the efficiency and the way, Jesse and Luke work. But this, hands down, was the most fun I've ever had on a job.
Nice.
I like to work hard. I like to move. I don't like to wait around and just let's go. Let's keep going. Yeah. And that was, I really liked the way that whole element on this job. I really liked the script. I really liked the way the action was. I really liked the stunt guys, everything about. I loved working with Tanya. She just gave it her all. Also Plutarco and Chris, but probably the most fun or most enjoyable job I've ever had, hands down. And that's also, obviously a testament to Jesse and Luke too. So that's it's number one on my enjoyment radar at the moment.
Amazing. Look at this guy. Look at this beast right here with the gun, mowing them down. Let's go. No, you're not getting it. You're getting mowed down. You're getting mowed down.
I was like,
Jesse,
at that
how
moment,
much does the
I was living my
weigh
best
again?
life, holding that gun, coming out, and just I was channeling my inner Arnie and Sly Stallone. There, it was all coming through me. I looked over at Jesse and I looked over at Luke, and I gave him this consonant wink, saying, "Hell yeah, this is the life."
Luke, you had a question? Luke?
I think about 35 pounds.
Oh, no, I was going to say one thing. I was going to say, yeah, if Bren's happy, I'm happy. But in that sequence with the...
I'm very happy, guys. You know that.
Yeah, in the sequence with that machine gun, Jesse, I don't remember how much the MG42 weighs.
It's about 35 pounds, I think, like that.
About 35 pounds.
Wow.
Bren, we've had other actors use that machine gun, and Bren picked it up, held it rock solid, and at one point, the gun wasn't cycling. It'd fire like 2 rounds and jam. It would fire 2 rounds and jam. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And Jesse finally figured out, Bren, you're gripping with your muscles so strong. You're holding the gun perfectly still, and you're not allowing the machine gun to vibrate for the action to cycle. So that's why it's not working. And I was like, you mean to tell me that Bren is holding that thing so rock solid that the bolt won't even cycle? And it was like, yes. And then Bren loosened up his grip and it ripped and shot all over the place. But we'd never had that before.
I didn't know that.
I don't ever want to hold that gun. It's so heavy.
Hold the gun properly.
Oh, wow.
You did it.
That's wild. You're too strong, Bren. God damn it. You're too strong for your own good.
Too much spinach.
Oh, man. But hey, this was a blast. I can talk to these filmmakers all day about action and martial arts. But hey, these guys got filmmaking to do. They got to make Mexicali 2 Electric Boogaloo. They got to make, we got to go. Debt Collectors 3. Fuck it. Avengement 2. Let's go. But yeah, this was a blast having you here. A huge honor having all three of you here. Luke, Jesse already knows this, but Luke and Bren, this is your second home. Your second home. Come on back. Talk martial arts and action films of any of your future projects coming out. You got to come back to the dojo. But before we wrap it up for today, Luke, we'll start with Luke. Is there anything you want to say to your fans and followers?
Do I have fans and followers? Okay. To my fans and followers, I'm sorry if I don't know you, all of you. Thank you for everything. Please go and see Mexicali. Bren and Tanya and Jesse and Plutarco and Chris and everyone else worked really, really hard on this film, and we wanted to make something that you guys would love. So please show it love and return, and go and see this movie in droves. And Preston, thank you. It was a pleasure. It's great to see Bren. It's good to see Jesse. I had a fantastic time. Thank you.
Hey, it was great to have you, man. Jesse.
March 13, streaming and theatrical. I think we've got 10 screens across the US, which is really, really quite good in this day and age. But also March 13, it's streaming on all major outlets. So take a look at the movie and raise the chances of there being a Mexicali Part 2. Thank you very much for having us, Preston.
Yes, sir. And last but not least, the man himself, Brent.
Just hoping that everyone enjoys the movie as much as we all did making it. And once you do see it, reach back out on socials. Let us know what you think, because that's important to all of us. And as Jesse said, March 13th in cinema and streaming. Hope you enjoy it. And Preston, thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's an honor to have you here. That's right. You guys heard him. Mexicali coming out March 13th in a couple of days. Go see it in the theater. And you know, when it comes out on Blu-ray, you're going to buy the Blu-ray. You're going to buy it. That's right. Buy it digitally too. Fuck it. Let's go. You want to support awesome, badass, exciting, entertaining martial arts and action movies right here with Mexicali. Oh, yeah. Oh, we got a doggy.
Yep.
Oh, look at that. Look at that guy.
He was on set.
He's on set. What's the name of the dog?
Charlie.
Charlie. There you go. We got a Charlie cameo right here in the movie dojo. Only here, baby. That's right. But yeah, I'm going to put everybody's links to their Instagram pages in the description box below of this video. So make sure you guys follow them on their filmmaking journey. And hey, if you guys enjoyed yourself hanging out with the old Samurai Guy, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hype the video. Hit that notification bell and continue to follow the Movie Dojo podcast right here on YouTube and on Spotify. All right, guys, we'll see you on the next one. Keep kicking. Take care, guys.
Thank you very much for having us, Preston.
Yeah, thank you.